Hi guys, French Per here, and well, first of all, as you can see as a background, there is a cookbit. So that is a cookbit I tried to use, so I could try to get 3 kills or 4 kills in one game. That's basically the idea I got, and I was successful. I got my 3k, but a lot of things happened in between. A lot of chases in the basement had to happen. It just had to, because you can't get kills playing solo as cook unless you go freaking basement often. Anyways, so this video is about one thing. It's about telling you why I think a DLC is a thing we need right now, a family DLC, other than the obvious reasons, right? First fact is we did not get a family DLC for 6 months. The second less obvious fact is that we got Nancy as the last family DLC, and that DLC just... Okay, I don't want to be harsh, but I will simply say it wasn't great. The idea they had with Nancy, I think, is good. However, they never like helped her or helped people who actually want to play Nancy. So that's a bit sad, and I will tell you why in detail. So Nancy, so an average game in Texas, Chainsaw Massacre The Game, takes about, I would say, 10 minutes, more or less, often less, but yeah. And what happens is that to use your power, when you press R1 and you see victims, it takes about 10 to 12 seconds, something like that, maybe even 15, I'm not sure. So you are not doing anything at this moment, okay? You press R1, but when you see something in the Blu-ray vision, which is it's not really, it doesn't feel great to see something in the Blu-ray vision, right? Like you don't see well. It's not fun. Then, so second part of her power, setting up her traps, her wire traps, yeah. So that takes about 12 seconds to set up one wire trap. Okay, it's not fun either because it's not smooth. Okay, so what happens is that you set up the wire trap with Nancy, and yeah, it just takes too long. So anyways, back to the point. So we didn't get a DLC for 6 months, and we got Nancy like 6 months ago. So that really, you can feel it. Like when you play family, you feel like you haven't got anything really worth, like anything that how to say, anything like you can feed off for a while. It feels like that to me, right? And it must feel like that for you guys if you really like the family side. We got some cool changes recently, but only a few. So Scout got a massive change, okay, and that was great because that kind of changed up the meta quite a lot, alright? From a perk perspective, which is still kind of small, but it's great. Then the 2 other perks were changed, one with the bone scraps, but the survivors still fight with bones, and it's not as powerful on their side, but frankly, it changes games, but it makes them a bit less frustrating, but it's still the same core gameplay in the end. So if you're like me and you play for fun, not just to win, the changes are there, but they're not that significant, I would say. Or at least it doesn't feel that significant. So now, so that's 2 things. So yeah. Oh damn, that cook hit. So yeah, and now one major thing, like big thing for me, it's the most important. So when Danny was introduced, he was super strong. Okay, his ability tree, I mean, it's great, it makes sense, it's effective in the game, it's game changing big time. Like you see a good Danny. I mean, you can't really know if he's good, right? But let's say there is a good Danny in the game, or should I say, every time you see Danny, it's potentially a good Danny, and that affects the whole game. Like every killer is like, there is Danny, so we have to do this, or we might have to do this, or basically everything changes the game. The shape of the game just drastically changes just because of his presence on the lobby. You're already thinking, what will I do, what will I not do? Instead, because there is a Danny. So it's the same when there is a Connie. It's the same when there is a Leon. It's the same when there is an Anna now. Even though Anna is a bit less noticeable, but in terms of difference when it comes to practical gameplay, if you really like think about it, you will see that she changes things big time. So why am I talking to you about victims? Well, it doesn't feel the same about family. Like, I would say that Johnny, because of the scout change, only because of that. Now, if there is a Johnny as a victim, so from the other side again, as a victim, you will feel there is a big difference. There are some areas where Johnny is insanely strong. You can't just not think about him. He's like, you have to think that he's always around, always ready to kill you within 2 seconds in 4 hits or 5 hits. I would say 5 average. So you have to think about it. Now it's not the same for Nancy. You basically have to avoid like 2 gaps or 3 gaps where her traps might be the whole game, and that's it. You don't need to think about it. Leatherface, you think about him, so that's great, but but thing is, the killers that are game changing, they have been the same exact way for a long time. It didn't change that much, there wasn't something game changing from the family side. You don't feel like you affect things that much. Hitchhiker, same thing, you feel he's there, his traps makes a difference, his chase ability makes a difference. So yeah, that's kind of the point I wanted to make. So we need a new family member who can do that. We don't need another Nancy. It doesn't matter if he's very strong or not, I just want him to be game changing, just like Village. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and see you next video. Give me your thoughts, I'm really curious.